Yeah.
And it gives you like another thing to do a week, and it's not necessarily like a workout.
Yeah.
It's more like just exercise.
We have that Ben Patrick seminar coming up on October 24th.
Yeah.
And I know that you've done some stuff with him, and I've seen additions of like movements that he's talked about into your functional bodybuilding programs. Those movements have helped out my knees a ton, by the way. They're night and day from what they were in February. But what concepts were you able to take from there? How was it beneficial for you? What are you like adding into functional bodybuilding that maybe wasn't there before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things. I think I got to meet or virtually meet Ben in March or April. I think I was just like many people, just, knees over toes guy, Instagram, went down the rabbit hole immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing his program and just doing things. And then one day he like messaged me. He's like, "Oh my God, you're doing this stuff." And he's like, "I'm a big fan." And I realized he had been following me for like 6 months or a year. And he gave me his phone number right away. He's like, "Text me anytime." And I'm like, "Really? Are you serious? Like, that's really generous. Like, I wonder if you do this with everybody. Like, that seems kind of, you're opening the door to a lot of questions." I was like, "Cool, man. I appreciate it. I promise I won't blow you up too much." And then, if you've been in a text message thread with him and he gets going, it's like, you're like, it's like 4 pages of text and you haven't even been able to write like, "Hey."
Is he at a computer or something?
I know. He told me once, he's like, "Yeah, I answered every single customer message for like 2 years from my phone and I got really fast." And I was like, apparently. But yeah, things that I took from him early on were, a history of like some injuries through sports and CrossFit. I have been on a journey of like, I want to train, I want to challenge my body for a long time, and I don't want to be impacted by, and I don't want to be held back by injuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing for me. And so I'm like, what does it take to challenge myself, to push that limit, but not overdo it? And when I really attached to some of what he was talking about, which is like, you do certain movements and you do the right amount of them at these standards, you can bulletproof a joint. I was like, okay, yeah, that resonates with me. How do I bulletproof every joint of my body? And then the concepts are, well, you develop strength through range. You do things like slant board squats or positional strength elements. You do them and you look at the upstream and the downstream joints and the strength of those muscles, and you really kind of understand. I mean, he took my concepts that I had already been thinking about of like strength balance, about bulletproofing, about longevity, and it was just an elegant system. I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. And then the other thing that really struck me with Ben was the way he delivered his programs as like kind of you don't need anything to start. This is body weight. It's very fundamental, and then you can progress. I think he's really a master of showing the regression concept and making it feel really empowering to people versus like, "Oh, go do the scaled version," right? And that's so important because most people are not going to be able to come in and do the workout we did today the way we did it. We need to regress it, but we need to make it regressed in a way that feels like, yes, like I'm having a win today. I feel really good. And he makes you feel like you're having a win by doing your first set of body weight tib raises. You're just like, "Oh my God, I got a wicked pump just by, putting my butt against the wall and lifting my toes." And then as we got to talking more, I just realized like he and I had so many, commonly held beliefs about the inclusion of things, not the exclusion of like, "Oh, that's good, I'll use that,"
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, he was such a sponge with anything I was throwing at him. I'm like, "Hey, I did this workout today. I did that." He came and did a functional bodybuilding workout like that. And he's like, I'm taking this information, I'm using it, I'm going to go practice it. And I thought that was just, really inspiring too. It's like somebody's like, "Oh, that's cool, I'm going to stick to my thing over here." Like, "I'm too good for that," or I won't touch that because it's not my thing. That's fine. But it also is not how I feel about, about fitness and about, longevity and creating, consistency for people.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that he does, I mean, it works. I know like we incorporated it when he was here. And one thing I think that's really interesting about some of it, and you mentioned this earlier about you didn't know if you would have enough time to like do, multiple workouts a day. I feel like with people like Ben Patrick that sometimes they're showing you like something so simple, you're just like, oh, I could throw that in a couple times a week.
Yeah.
And it gives you like another thing to do a week, and it's not necessarily like a workout.
Yeah.
It's more like just exercise. And then as I mentioned earlier, it's like part of like your body hygiene. You know, you brush
Yeah.
your teeth, and it's like, well, why not move your elbows around too? Like take care of your teeth. Why not take care of your, not just your bones of your body, but take care of some of your joints.
Yeah.
Move your shoulders around a little bit, move your knees around a little bit, your hips.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different for each person. Like, some people are going to have to pay a lot more attention to it. So for me, I'm just thinking like some of the stuff that he showed, there's some things that are more complex and more difficult for me to do that I just don't necessarily enjoy because they're harder, but they would clearly benefit me. But I adapted at least some of it. I'm like, okay, those 3-4 things I could see putting those into my life and having those be part of my day to day. I went and I ran the other day. A while back, I was running and my knee got a little swollen, got a little screwed up. And so I had to go back and do more knees over toes stuff. I had to work on the tibs and do a bunch of different stuff. And sure enough, a lot of the pain subsided. But it's been, I don't even know how long. It's probably been decades since I've been able to like decelerate my body. I actually, at some point in my life, I used to be pretty fast. I used to be able to sprint pretty good. But I got to a point where I couldn't slow down,
Right.
Kind of juggernaut. Right. More recently I did some sprints. I did like 12 sets of sprints, and I was able to, not to stop on a dime or anything. It still took me a while to slow down. I was still being very cautious, but that's exactly what Ben's talking about, is that you're in a knee over toe position when you're doing some deceleration. So the shit works great.
Pat Project family, is TRT or HRT something that you've been interested in? Well, if you are, that's why we've partnered with Merrick Health, owned by Derek for More Plates, More Dates. They are the premium telehealth TRT and HRT clinic. And the great thing about Merrick Health that is so unique about them is that versus every other telehealth clinic out there, they give you direct plans for you specifically. Many clinics give you just plans that they give to everybody else, but we are individuals. We have different hormonal levels. We need unique plans. That's why you need to check out Merrick Health. And Andrew, can you tell the people how to do it?
Yes, over at merrickhealth.com, MAREK health.com. When it comes time to actually purchasing these labs and paying for them, if you're talking to somebody on the phone, you can just mention promo code PowerProject15, or if you are manually checking out on your own, you can enter promo code PowerProject15 to save 15% off all labs. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes. Let's get back to the video.
Yeah. I mean, the results and the efficacy of some of his systems, they speak for themselves as long as you do them. And, but again, like back to like, what about him really stood out, or what how'd the relationship grow? It was that, like what you said, it's like, you don't have to make this your 100% thing that you do. You can take elements from it. And that to me is very aligned with how I feel about functional bodybuilding. It's like, I don't need you to be 100% all in on functional bodybuilding, because truly that's not what it's about. It's about, maybe that tempo superset that we did, that concept, maybe you do 2 of those a week, in place of your 5 sets of 5, and now you're getting a different stimulus in your training and you learn that. Or maybe that like work capacity thing we did with the sleds and with the, swings and with the floor presses, like, okay, let me incorporate that once or twice a week, because it's going to help you with, learning how to control your breathing while actually putting out, some power and some resistance, which might translate well to your, jujitsu. And that again comes from solving a problem that I felt for years, which was, people got into the sport of CrossFit or and it was like CrossFit or nothing. I'm 100%. It's like, this is my thing. It's like, and so it didn't leave room for anything else. It's like, oh, you want to come and how do you just dip your toe into it? It's like, I just want to try a little bit of it. It's like, no, you got to do the whole thing. It's like, no, you don't have to do the whole thing. You just take elements that really can work for you. And I want to expose people to a lot of different methodologies inside of this program, inside of our approach, so that like, hey, 6 out of 10 of them work really well. I'm going to keep using them. Yeah, we've got people that love all 10 out of 10 and they're our diehards, but it's like, at the end of the day, even if you just take 2 of the principles and you're using them every week, that's a win, and that's helping people. And I think Ben really believes that. And I use, I use some of his zero knees over toes ATG system program concepts to warm up my knees any day I squat. It's like, okay, I just do these things. I got my monkey foot, I got my slant board, I got my I got my tib bar, and I just knock them out, and I'm feeling good, and I squat, and that's it. And I don't need to like invest in the whole system and do nothing else.
Yeah. Hey, you, before you leave, listen up. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Also ring that notification bell because we continue to bring you peak content. So don't leave us hanging. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and we will see you soon.